stop touching your toes. Seriously, if your first instinct when your back feels stiff is to lean over and reach for your sneakers, you need to stop right now. It sounds crazy, I know. We've been told since grade school PE that tight equals stretch it out. But for most of us over the age of 60, that morning toe touch isn't just useless. It's actually a recipe for a herniated disc. You've been lied to about why your back hurts, and that's exactly why the heating pads and the ibuprofen haven't fixed a thing. I've spent the last 15 years in the trenches of physical therapy, working specifically with folks who were told their glory days were over because of a bad back. I've seen thousands of seniors walk into my clinic hunched over like they're carrying the weight of the world, convinced that surgery was the only exit ramp left. But here is the secret most doctors won't tell you. Your back usually isn't the problem. Your back is just the victim. It's the middle manager of your body that's being forced to do everyone else's job because the rest of the team quit 10 years ago. And the biggest quitter? It's a muscle you've probably never even thought about, hidden deep behind your gut, that is currently pulling your spine out of alignment every second you spend sitting in your favorite recliner. Now, you might be asking, Porter, if stretching isn't the answer, do I have to start doing power squats? Absolutely not. In fact, the 1-minute fix I'm talking about is so low impact that I've had 85-year-old grandmothers do it in their bathrobes while the coffee is brewing. It's lazy senior approved because it doesn't require sweat. It doesn't require a gym. And it sure as heck doesn't require you to get down on the floor. Because let's be honest, at our age, getting down is easy. It's the getting back up that's the problem. But before we get to the how, you have to understand the why. Think about your spine like the mast of a sailing ship. It's supposed to be held upright by a series of ropes. Your muscles. If the ropes in the front are too tight, the mast starts to lean. If the ropes in the back are too loose, the whole thing wobbles. Most back pain is just your body's way of screaming that the ropes are out of balance. We live in a seated society. We sit to eat, we sit to drive, we sit to watch the news. And while we're sitting, a specific muscle called the psoas is shrinking. It's getting shorter and tighter, and because it's attached directly to your lower spine, it's literally yanking on your vertebrae 24/7. When you stand up, that tight muscle doesn't want to let go. It pulls your pelvis forward, creates a massive arch in your lower back, and pinches the nerves that make your legs feel like they're on fire. The worst part? Most people try to fix this by stretching their hamstrings or doing core work. But that's like trying to fix a leaky roof by mopping the floor. You're treating the symptom, not the source. If you're tired of feeling like you're 100 when the calendar says you're 65, and you're sick of missing out on walks or gardening because your lumbar feels like it's in a vice grip, then stick with me. I'm going to show you why everything you thought you knew about senior fitness is actually keeping you stiff. I know this sounds like a lot, but stay with me, because once you see how simple the master switch is, you're going to be frustrated you didn't know this a decade ago. It's the difference between waking up feeling like a rusted tin man and swinging your legs out of bed with zero hesitation. If that sounds like a trade you're willing to make, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. We're building a community here at Smart Senior Secrets where we stop acting our age and start acting the way we feel, which is a whole lot younger than the doctors think. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. To understand why this 1-minute move works, we have to look at the hidden culprit I mentioned. In the medical world, we call it the psoas, but you can just call it the hidden power switch. It is the only muscle in your entire body that connects your upper half to your lower half. It starts at your lower spine, dives through your pelvis, and attaches to your thigh bone. When it works right, you walk like a champion. When it's stuck, it's like trying to drive your car with the emergency brake pulled halfway up. But it gets worse. Because this muscle is buried so deep, you can't rub it with a foam roller or hit it with a massage gun. And because it's attached to your spine, when it gets tight from sitting, it creates a shearing force. It literally grinds your vertebrae together. This is why you feel that sharp, electric pinch when you try to stand up straight after a long dinner. Now, here is the secret that most fitness gurus get wrong. They'll tell you to do deep lunges or heavy gym stretches. But at our age, a deep lunge is a one-way ticket to a pulled groin or a balance mishap. We don't need intensity. We need neurological release. We need to trick your nervous system into letting go of that emergency brake. Think of your muscles like a rubber band that's been sitting in a cold garage for 20 years. If you just grab both ends and yank it, what happens? It snaps. But if you warm it up and gently nudge it, it regains its elasticity. That's what we're doing here. Here is the 1-minute move. I call it the countertop reset. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need to change your clothes. You just need a sturdy kitchen counter or the back of a heavy sofa. First, you're going to stand facing your counter and place both hands on the edge. Step 1 foot back, just a small step, like you're taking a natural stride. Keep that back heel glued to the floor. Now, instead of leaning forward like a traditional calf stretch, I want you to do something counterintuitive. Tuck your tail under. Imagine you're a dog tucking its tail between its legs. This tiny pelvic tilt is the key in the lock. The moment you tuck that tail, you're going to feel a gentle pull right in the front of your hip, not your back. That is the psoas finally letting go of your spine. But here's the pro tip that makes this work in 60 seconds. Most people hold a stretch and check their watch. That's boring and, frankly, not very effective. Instead, while you're in that tucked position, I want you to gently reach the arm on that same side up toward the ceiling and lean slightly, just an inch, away from that back leg. Now, you're not just stretching a muscle, you're decompressing the entire side of your lumbar spine. You're creating space where there was friction. You're giving your nerves room to breathe. Hold that for 30 seconds. Switch sides. Do the other 30 seconds. The first time you do this, you might feel a little pop or a sense of warmth. That's not something breaking. That's blood flow finally returning to a dead zone in your lower back. But here's the catch. If you do this and then immediately go sit back down in that soft, saggy recliner for 4 hours, the brake is just going to lock right back up. You've unlocked the door, but you haven't walked through it yet. Now, you might be thinking, Porter, that sounds great for the morning, but what about when I'm out at the grocery store or walking the dog and the pain starts acting up? But here's the thing. Unlocking your back while standing in your kitchen is one thing. Keeping it unlocked while you're out living your life, walking through the grocery store, or keeping up with the grandkids at the park is a whole different ballgame. Most people shuffle as they get older. We take shorter steps because we're afraid of tripping or because our hips feel like they're made of rusted iron. But that shuffle is actually the psoas's best friend. It keeps that emergency brake engaged. This is where the walking reset comes in. It's not a fancy exercise. It's just a tiny tweak to how you move. Next time you're walking, I want you to stop focusing on where you're putting your front foot. Instead, focus on the foot behind you. Most of us lift our back foot up too early. To do the walking reset, I want you to feel your back big toe push off the ground for just a fraction of a second longer. That tiny moment of push-off forces your hip into extension. It's like giving that tight psoas a mini stretch with every single step you take. You're literally walking out the tension. Now, I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention the biggest trap of all, the recliner. I know, I love a good nap in the chair as much as anyone. But most recliners are designed to look comfortable, not to support a human spine. They're C-shaped, which forces your back into a curve and puts that psoas right back into its shortened, angry state. If you're going to sit, do me one favor. Take a bath towel, roll it up until it's about the size of a large burrito, and tuck it right into the small of your back, just above your belt line. That simple lumbar roll keeps your spine in its natural S-curve and prevents the master switch from flipping back to the pain position. It's these tiny, lazy adjustments that separate the seniors who stay active and independent from the ones who end up stuck on the sidelines. You don't need to spend 2 hours at the gym. You don't need to buy a $5,000 adjustable bed. You just need to stop fighting your own anatomy and start working with it. I've seen this simple 1-minute approach change lives. I've seen people go from, I can't walk to the mailbox, to, I just booked a trip to Europe just by releasing that one hidden muscle. But listen, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Back pain is usually the loudest cry for help, but it's often connected to how we sleep, what we eat, and even how we breathe. If you found this helpful, do me a favor. Share this video with one friend who's been complaining about their bad back. Let's stop this shuffling epidemic together. And if you want more of these smart senior secrets that the mainstream fitness world completely ignores, make sure you've joined our community by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell. I'm Porter, and I'm here to make sure your best years aren't behind you. They're right in front of you. Now, go try that countertop reset and let me know in the comments how your back feels afterward. I read every single one.